Welcome to Search and Study Tech. Today topic is operators in Python. So what are the operators supported in Python? You can see one by one. Arithmetic operators, relational operators, assignment operators, logical operators, and bitwise operators, ternary operators, membership operator, identity operator, and special operators. These are the operators supported in Python. Now in this video you can discuss arithmetic operators. So plus addition operator, minus subtraction operator, star multiplication operator, and also has repetition operator. So now you can see the one by one. So here it is a division operator, here floor division operator, this is modulation operator, here it is a exponent or power operator. Now we can see the one by one. Now first you can discuss arithmetic operator. In this arithmetic operator, plus operator, here I am discussing here. You can see for example print 10 plus 20. So what is the value here? You can see the value is 30, right? For example here print, here I am using Satyam plus Angara. Now you can see here what is the output. Here you can see the output is Satyam Angara. The same plus operator you can use in between numbers. Okay, you can perform the addition. The same plus operator you can use two strings, it can perform the concatenation, not a addition. For example, I am taking one is a rounded value, integer value, another one is I am taking here, it is for example 20.2. so here it can perform the addition. So here it is a 10 is the integer value, here 20.2 it is a floating point value. So in this case I am trying to, so you can see here one is the integer, one is the string type, another one is integer type. Now if you can perform the addition or not, you can see it raise an error. You can see can only concatenate string, not integer. So that is the type error. That's why we can use here both are numbers or both are string. So for example I am using here, it is for example list 1 equal to, for example I am using L1 here. You know the list 10 comma for example 25. So this is one list. I am taking here list 2, that is equal to something here 20 comma 30, right? So I am taking here, it is L3. Okay, L3 equal to L1 plus L2. Just if you can add two lists, then you can print list 3 L3. So you can see here you can add the two list here. You can see 10 25 20 30. So right here also you can write L1 plus L2. If you can add two lists, here you can see you can add the two lists like that. Here the plus operator is used. You can add two integers, it is addition, it can perform the addition. Here if you can take two strings like this, you can take two strings, here it can perform the concatenation. So now you can see the subtraction like this. Here you can see for example print 20 minus 10. Here you can subtract the value here, you can see. So 20 minus 10, right? You can subtract the value here, so that is minus. Now you can see the multiplication here, print for example 10 into 2, right? 10 into 2. So what is the value here? You can see the value is 20. I am using here, it is, you can see Satyam here and same operator 2. What is the meaning of this star here? What operation is performed in this case? So it is act as a repetition operator, not a multiplication operator, the same operator. But here I am taking one is the integer, another one is string. So in this case it can perform the repetition. That means the Satyam is repeated 2 times. Now we can see the output here, Satyam and Satyam. Here the 2 times is printed this string. Maybe you can take the first is the string, or here you can see I am taking here first value may be a, for example here I am taking integer and string. In this case also you can repeat 3 times Satyam. So here these two value, one is the number, another one is string. Then the star operator performs the repetition. Print, I am taking 10/2. So what is the value here? Generally in Python 2 it returns what it returns here. It is return the integer value in Python 2, but in Python 3 it return the floating point value. Okay, by 2 here you can see it return 5.0. okay, right here you can see the 10/3. In this case also you can see it return floating point value. So here it is rounded, it is a floating point value. So always the division operator always return floating point value, right? This is the division. Now you can see the another operator is modulation operator. Modulation, what is meant by modulation operator? Here you can see for example 10 mod 2. So what is the value here? You can see it return the remainder, it returns the remainder. 10 mod 2 it returns the remainder. Here it can gives the integer value. Maybe if any one of the value here either 10 or 2 you can take, here it is a floating point value, then it return the floating point value here, like you can see 0.0, right? For example here I am taking 10 mod 2.0, right? In this case also it can return the floating point value. Now you can see here I am taking 2.3, for example here 2.3. What is the value here? You can see. So if any one of the value is floating point, then it returns the float value here. So 10 mod 3, what is the value here? It is 1. Operator is print. Here I am taking 10 floor division 2. So what is meant by floor division? You can see for example I am taking 10 floor division 2. That means here down to rounded integer, rounded integer, rounded integer. That means here it can 10 mod 2. That means here you can see the floor division. Here the floor division is, so what is the value here? The floor division here the value is 5. For example I am taking 5 floor division 2. So what is the value here? The value is 2. okay, right? I am taking for example this is the floor division, right? You can see in this example you can see here 10 floor division 2. So what is the value here? It value is 5. For example I am taking here 10 floor division 3. So what is the value here? 3. So rounded value it can consider down to rounded integer value. Okay, that's why here 3. For example any one of the value is floating point. Now you can see 10.0. So here it can return the float value. Here you can see the float value. So down to rounded integer floating point value it can return. Maybe here I am consider here 3.0. So in this case also it can return the float value. Here you can see. So that is the float value. If any one of the value is float, then it can return the float value. See here for example in this case actual value is 2.5, but here floor division is written only 2. So what is the difference between floor and seal. What is the difference between these two? Floor means down to rounded integer, that means here it can return the value is 2 in this case. So but seal means here, what is meant by seal? Up to the rounded value, rounded integer value, that means here it can consider 3. So you can see one example. So I am importing math module here, import math module, then I am using here, you can see print math dot floor. Here you can see math dot floor here 10 by 2. So what is the value here? 10 by 2. What is the value here? Actually 10 by 2 it returns the float value, that means 5.0. You know, you can see the floor 10 by 2 what it returns. So it returns down to rounded integer value, that means here you can see 5. Okay, for example here the floor 10 by 3. So what is the value here? Floor 10 by 3, what it returns? Here it returns down to rounded integer value, that means actually 3.33 like that, but here you can print 3. Now I'm using here seal. So what is the value here? Up to rounded value here you can see that is 4. So that is the difference. Now you can see this is the difference, floor and seal. Now next one is power operator, right? Power operator, how can you use the power operator here? For example, print 2 double star 3. So what is meant by here? Power operator or exponent operator here. So 2 cube, right? It can print the value is 8. You can see any one of the value is floating point value, then it returns the float value. Here you can see here 8.0, or I am taking here the power value is floating, so floating point value. Now we can see that here value is 8.0. So double star means it is a exponent operator. So here it is a string type, here it is a boolean type, right? So what it returns here, you can see one time it can print that string here Satyam. So what is the meaning of this? Here true means 1, false means 0. That's why it can return, it can print one time this string. Okay, I'm using here, I'm using false, so it cannot print anything. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and click the bell icon for the latest notifications.